Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode from the Ramble SMP. And we're starting things off again today in the big crazy garden farm that we built last time. They're still not done. And have done a couple of things between episodes, so let's have a quick look at that. Right, so the first thing I did was I started on the item collection. So you may remember I had powered rails going all the way up and down there, but I moved them to this end. And the reason I've done that, let's actually show you that first, is because we turn the farm on from that end and then we have repeaters coming along this way. So what I did to get this farm running, I'm actually going to do it again now actually, I've just taken out these repeaters. So you hear there that the pistons have retracted, so the water is now flowing down. So I'm just remove, I think there's 3 in this row, and if I take all these out, these 3 or 4 sections will be up and running. So if we just come down here, I'll also turn the minecarts on as well, which I've also got set up, just these 4 down here. And yes, they are on their own levers at the moment, but the plan is to have redstone going all the way along here to power these blocks, which will then power those rails. But for now, we're low on redstone, so we're doing it this way. And then at the other end, we've also been doing a little bit of work with this stuff. So we have these drop-off stations for the first 4 minecarts. They just go up here, and we have some very, very basic redstone, but because there's like 2 circuits in one, it looks a bit more complicated than it is. So minecarts come up here, and if there's anything in that hopper, it turns this rail off. So that means it'll stay there until this hopper's empty. And then below that we just have an auto dropper circuit, so if there's anything in this dropper, it turns on this comparator and it spits everything out into this water stream that is on packed ice, and it goes all the way along here. Well, it will do eventually, but for now it just goes into these 3 chests. And these things are absolutely ridiculous. I've been AFK at like half an hour at a time, and these pretty much fill up in next to no time with such a small section of the farm running. So I'm very confident once this thing is up and running, it's going to be good. Another thing I've done, as you can see from here, I've finished off this wall with prismarine because, as I said, I've been getting an absolute ton of stuff. I've been crafting it all up. I've got a ton more sea lanterns around here. A bit more prismarine, but I did have loads of that, but I've used it. A few bricks, and we have a junk chest. We don't just look at the junk chest. So, one more thing around here, and before we move on to something else, I've also been experimenting with a bit of design. I did say last time I wanted to use orange terracotta with the prismarine, and, you know, it just works. I love it. So, I've decorated my bedroom a little bit, and yeah. Pretty cool. I like it. So I don't have a ton of red sand around here. I think I had somewhere else. Yeah. I don't have much of it around here, but I have been doing a little bit between episodes. I've been across in our mining desert / mesa, which is really, really far away. So to fix that, I've done something else. Right, so back in the nether hub, these are all the spawn portals. And just across from Amradorn's, we have this tunnel that goes across to the trash desert. And yeah, it was a really, really long way. Amradorn dug this all out. I think he did it himself, and it's a really, really long way. I think it goes like 500-600 blocks that way, and then another similar amount, 700 blocks that way. It's absolutely crazy. So definitely a big dig, but getting down there, it wasn't the most user friendly. So I've added this thing in, and yeah, it's basically the same design all the way. So it's packed ice, iron trapdoors, and sea lanterns. So yeah, I've placed about 1100 sea lanterns and same with packed ice all the way down here. Absolutely crazy. But if we can pull this down, this is now a really, really fast way of getting over there. And if you're wondering why the trapdoors are there, that just makes running down here really easy. So you can run and jump, because there's a few side tunnels, as you may see as we're whizzing past. But yeah, you can see getting down here takes hardly any time at all now. Going through a basalt delta, there was some nasty stuff down this tunnel, wasn't very nice. But I will make this look pretty eventually. It's just, you know, wanted to make it functional first. But things to do first, we'll come back to this another day. And there we are. Right. So, yeah, I think, yeah, I lost my boat. Anyway, right. So, this is the desert. Let's have a look. So, yeah, it's a desert village. I'm going to keep... No, that went again. Alright, whatever. So, yeah, it's a desert village, and it's just on the end of a badlands. And I did start by digging out a little bit of red sand around here, but I thought it made more sense to find a much bigger area. So, what I've done is I've flown right to the other end, just so I don't make too much of a mess for everyone else. Even though this is an area that we've all agreed we can just destroy, we don't need to keep it looking pretty. But I've come right to the other end anyway, and as you can see, I've set up a beacon with haste 2. And then just down this ladder, you'll see everything that I've got. Right, so this is my temporary little storage area down below where I've been digging. And yeah, I even have a little safe room. Don't know why, just have. So the first thing I did on the surface, I was digging out the red sand, and we're going to use that to craft into red sandstone. So I had to get an absolute ton of it, and I crafted it all up into red sandstone, and this is what we've ended up with. So imagine 4 times this, that's how much sand I dug out, and it's given me a fairly decent amount of red sandstone. Probably will need some more, but, you know, we'll see how we'll go with this for now. And then after that, I set to work on the orange terracotta, and I did spend quite a while doing this. This time lapse doesn't really do it justice, how much I actually got, but we did actually get a full shulker box, and a decent amount in another one as well. So that should do for the orange terracotta. I don't have massive plans for this. It's more about the sandstone. And then after that, I came underground because the next plan was to get some gold. I'm really, really low on gold, and I need an absolute ton for all of those powered rails. So all I'm doing here is digging out a massive area underground. I've got the Haste 2 beacon, digging out a huge area underground in the mesa. You get loads of it generating here and much higher up than you do elsewhere in the world. And this is what I got from digging all that out. A huge area, and I didn't even get 4 stacks from that. So yeah, it's not great. But after I'd done that, I went caving, and that worked out much better for me. I probably spent less time doing the caving, quite a bit of time fighting mobs off, but this is what we got from that. I did actually find a ship in the ocean as well, which is where that came from, but all of this came from doing a little bit of caving, so I think that is going to be the way to go. I also said I wanted to build a gold farm with Raevhynn this time. Now, I don't know if we're going to get a chance to do that anytime soon, because we're both busy, we both have very little time, and we're on opposite sides of the world, so, you know, might not happen. But if I do need to build one, I'll just build a really cheap, janky one, and then me and Raevhynn can do something a bit more impressive later on. So we're going to grab all this. Let's just grab these two. I might as well take everything back with me now. Get those, and yeah, that one's empty, but I'll take it anyway. And do I have anything else in here? No, I'll leave all that. Yeah, so we'll get that back, because the plan for today is to work on some redstone. And maybe gold. We'll see. Okay, so I've taken all that stuff back across to the Guardian farm, and we're now in the messy area that I call the Squid Farm / village. I don't know what I'll call it. Anyway. One new addition that's popped up between episodes is this tower here. So we do have this one that's been cut off at the bottom, and this was the original bubble elevator that took me up to the AFK point for the Trident farm. But what I've done is added this one in here. Now there's nothing in it yet. I haven't put the water in or the water drop, so I need to remember not to come down there. And it's going to work exactly the same way. But it's not going to take me up to the Trident farm. What we're going to do is come up to the point where I AFK for the Squid farm. No, that was terrible. Try that again. So this is the AFK point for the Squid Farm. So this is where I'll stand while squids are doing their thing, going through to the nether and dying, giving me plenty of ink sacks. But I thought, rather than just have a boring glass box up here, I might as well make use of this area and do something with it. So what I'm going to do to fix the problem I have with having no redstone and also being too lazy to go mining for it, I thought I'd have a spot for some cleric villagers, because we get tons of rotten flesh out of this farm, and we're still going to be getting that while we're here AFKing for the squids. We'll probably entity cram and I'll get some out of there. So I can trade that with these up here and also buy redstone off them. So that'll solve one problem. The other thing as well is I only have a really basic starter storage in there of 3 double chests. So I'm going to put a sorting system at this end and have storage for all of the drops from the Trident farm and maybe some of the trading stuff as well. Space for some emeralds. But also I can just stand here, do the AFK for the squid, and whilst I'm doing other things in here, I'll probably still get squid spawning as well, so that's great. So that's plan, and it's right talking about it, but, you know, I should just get it done, shouldn't I? Let's go. Right, so the first step is to remove the original bubble elevator that I had that is now over the Squid Farm. And the reason I'm doing this is because this is in a river biome, so I did have drowned spawning in here and occasionally attacking me while I was up there. So the new one I built is not in the river, so we won't have that problem. Then it's on to building the storage area for the Trident Farm and also the trading hall. And palette wise, we're going for deep slate and copper mainly, and an absolute ton of sea lanterns as well, and that's because I have an absolute ton of them, so I might as well use them everywhere I can. So we're just having chests at one end for the storage, and then at the other end we have the space for 10 villagers, and my plan is to fill this with clerics. And then moving on to the outside, we're doing the redstone for the storage. So first up is the packed ice for the water stream, then we can put the item filters on one side for the Trident Farm drops, and lastly we'll just connect this up to the Trident Farm with the auto dropper. Then the fun bit was to get the villagers in, so I started building a platform around the Squid Farm. So I can use this to move the villagers, but while I was at it, I thought I'd put this here so I can eventually build a fancier design on top of it. Then stole the cleric from the main trading hall and move that into the new one, and then zombified and cured a few more clerics and I moved those up there as well. Alright, so this is what we ended up with. So this is the big bubble elevator that comes right down from the bottom. And then we also have another one at the other end, and that goes up into the Trident Farm. So this glass block here, this is my AFK point for the Squid Farm. But anytime I'm up here, you get an absolute ton of squid. So anytime I've been up here, I have to go into the nether and make sure that things are overflowing. But anyway, let's have a quick look. You'll notice there's no villagers on this side, and we have 5 on this side. And it's absolutely crazy the amount of redstone I got from this, because I've been coming in here quite a lot. It's been a long time since I built this. So yeah, just come through a load of emeralds. So the plan was to basically take the rotten flesh, sell it to them, and use all the emeralds for redstone. But I'm not actually getting that much rotten flesh. Even when I've been in they're AFK quite a bit and killing an absolute ton of drowns. You'll see by my levels, I've got 111 levels. I've been doing a lot. Obviously, some of that is from the trading as well, but a lot of it is from killing drowns. So I've got a lot of raw flesh, but you just get through tons of it trading. So I don't think I'm going to have another 5 up here. It's not really worth it. But redstone wise, we're doing alright. I've got this much in here, but I've also got a full chest of it in there as well. And I know I can craft this up into blocks, but it just looks more impressive like this, doesn't it? So, yeah, we'll do that. We'll get that crafted up and taken over to the Guardian farm. But for now, we have another task, don't we? And that is gold. And that one is not as easy. But I have made a start. But anyway, before I look at that, I do have something else to show you up here. I've added in another section. Look at all these drowns. Because even when I'm down there, these things spawn up here as well. So I get loads of them spawning. But yeah, I've put in a few slots here. Because the plan was to have librarians up here with the Trident-specific trades. So like the channeling and impit, is it impaling? Yeah, whatever they're called. But yeah, I was going to put those up here. But I think because I've got those 5 slots spare down there, it'd make more sense to do it in there. But we'll come back to that because I've had enough of this area for now. I really want to get the Guardian farm finished. Oh yeah, one last little thing. There's got the sorting system on this side as well. So all the rotten flesh goes into these first 3, which is definitely overkill because every time I come up here, I take all the rotten flesh out and trade it with the clerics. And as I said, get through it so quickly. Well, then we've also got the drowned heads, the Nautilus shells, and the copper all getting sorted into there. And anything that doesn't get sorted in here goes over the top. And this is basically an overflow section. So we have a ton of fishing rods. And look at all these tridents. Absolutely crazy. And I already have a ton of these already anyway. So yeah, doing alright for tridents. Need to get these enchanted and maybe make a shop for those. I think we can leave this for now. And I'll show you what I've been doing to sort out the gold. Okay, so back over at the Badlands. This is what I've been doing. Not this little storage area. But this here kind of shows you how much digging I've been doing. All this full of stone and all the other stone variants as well. And yeah, I've been mining out all the gold above here. But let's have a look. So I mined out a fairly small area earlier, which I showed in the time lapse. And I haven't done a time lapse of this, but it's absolutely ridiculous. I must have spent hours doing this. And yeah, I think we had a little bit over here, didn't we? Just this little section. But yeah, I've dug all this out, and this has all been done by hand, and it's absolutely crazy. But because we're in a Badlands, anything above Y32, you get a ton of gold generating. So yeah, I've been digging all that out, and I probably will need to do a bit more. But if we just get back over to the Guardian farm, I'll show you how much gold I've got so far. Okay, so back over at the Guardian farm, and this is where I've been cooking up all my gold. So we're doing all right, and this isn't even everything, because once I dump it in here, I usually fly off and go do something else. So we've still got a little bit still coming in, but once this is all in, I think this is going to take us up to 36 stacks. So yeah, not quite there, and I do already have some powered rails down there. So to be honest, I'm not 100% sure on how much I need. I'm fairly sure that this isn't enough, so I'm going to need to do a little bit more mining. But with the redstone, this is everything that I've got from the trading, and with this, we should be able to do a decent amount with this. So I'm going to get all this crafted up into powered rails, get all this placed down, and we'll see where we are. First job is to place in all of the redstone blocks which will power the rails. And yes, I could do this with levers, but this looks way better. Then we got on with placing the absolute ton of powered rails that I had crafted, and this is how far we got. And then luckily I found some more gold. I crafted that up into powered rails and placed those down as well. Okay, so progress has been made, and as you can see, we only have this little strip here. So I used up all of the gold I had, crafted it all up into powered rails, and that got me most of the way there. But then I also checked in my ender chest, and I had 30 gold blocks, which I completely forgotten about. So I turned all that into ingots and into powered rails, and that got us this far. And then after I got that done, I came over here just for a bit of a change, and I wired all this up. So instead of having levers on the back of all of these to send the minecarts on the way, I've added one in down here and then wired it all up to every single one. So once we get everything in, just flicking this will set off all the minecarts. So after doing that, I've had a little bit of a trip into the nether, and I thought I'd have a go at getting some of the nether gold ore. And this went pretty well. Didn't spend too long there, got a few stacks, and then I've put all this down and fortuned it. And this is what I ended up with from doing that. So I can craft up a few more, and this should probably finish it off for this main section anyway. But I am going to need some more to do the drop-off stations at the end. So I think we're going to get back across to the Badlands, try and get a bit more gold, and hopefully very, very soon we'll have this finished off. Right, so after another extensive mining session in the Badlands, and a little bit more in the nether, this is the gold that we've got. So I've fortuned this all up and crafted it into rails. I then finished off the tiny section of rails, and started placing a slab layer above the rails. After continuing a long way with the slab layer, I ran out of prismarine, so needed to get the farm running so I could craft more. So I then finished off all of the minecart drop-off stations and the auto droppers so I could run the whole farm and have all of the drops picked up. I then realised that I didn't really like the slab layer above the rails as everything was getting really dark. It's not very obvious what I'm doing here, but I've filled all of the gaps with glass and then removed the slabs and replaced all of those with the glass as well. And then finally, the big job, because I've got tons of prismarine now, I've been going around the edge of the farm, digging out all of the stone and all the janky blocks around there, and replacing it with a base layer of prismarine. And yes, this is very plain looking, but this is just the base layer of this wall. We're going to have lots of fancy stuff over the top of it, but I just wanted it nice and neat for now, and we can do that stuff later. And talking about things being neat, I thought I'd just tidy up this platform as well. So I've already got the flooring done, and I'm just working on this back wall, getting rid of all the sand, replacing it with prismarine, and then I'm just chopping down the trees, which does take an absolute age, but I'm going to find a better area to do this, probably underground somewhere, and now this is looking a lot better. So this is where we are, and yeah, you'll see the floor is a bit of a mismatch. That's because I just wanted to try the two different textures. I think I do prefer the sandstone, but I don't have an absolute ton of this. Yeah, this chest is all got here, and these are all slabs just to make it go a bit further. I probably could have got it done actually, but I do need this to do the fancy wall design that we're going to do, probably next time. So yeah, I've just done the rest of it with orange terracotta, and I think this looks alright, but I don't honestly know if this area is going to stay. I just wanted to keep everything nice and tidy, rather than having just a complete mess all around like I normally do. So yeah, that is pretty much it. We've got everything done. This farm is working. So if we just jump down here, I have done a couple of other things that I didn't show on camera. I tidied all this up behind here as well. So we've got the sea lanterns and the prismarine at the back of there. So that is looking nice and tidy. No more deep slate. And then through here, this is something else I didn't show, but this is storage. You hear everything burning, and that's because I'm trying to filter out the fish. And it's not going great, to be honest, because there's just so many of them coming through. Just have a look around here. Yeah, what I did originally, I had one item filter set up, just try and catch the fish, but then in the chest over at the other end, there was just so many going through there. I've increased it to 4, and that appears to be working a little bit better, but I think if we have a look over here, we'll probably still see some fish. Yeah, there's a few still coming through, so it's not perfect. And yeah, there's tons in there. Everything else, apart from the fish, mainly, comes into here. And I have been crafting up a lot of sea lanterns, so I've got 2 double chests there, a little bit more in that one. And obviously I've crafted up a lot of the shards into prismarine to do all of these walls. So this farm is absolutely crazy productive, very happy with it. I did have a bit of a mishap as well. After doing all of this, I've been underground because at the moment I have to AFK up here. And this means that none of the caves are loaded below there. But what I eventually want to be able to do is AFK in my base, which is going to be over there, but that means everything underground needs lighting up. So I started doing a little bit of that, and unfortunately, there was a very mean skeleton that picked on me, and I don't know why, but I was taking loads of damage. Must have had a really good enchanted bow, so those 112 levels I had, all gone. I do have a few more now, because I've been over to my trident farm and repairing stuff, but I always get a few more levels from that, so we're getting there. But yeah, 112, not happy. And then the glass as well. I do like this, but I'm kind of thinking I probably should have used stained glass. Not necessarily for the walls, but I think for this bottom floor. Maybe something to look at once we get everything else done. And I do have a couple of chests down here. I think this is just the dark prismarine. That, yeah, just need to get that moved. And junk. Yeah, we'll get rid of junk. So yeah, that's another thing I'm going to need to get done soon, is a bit of storage. Because, yeah, junk chests have started appearing. Look at this. I was doing so well, keeping everything organised. Got mainly stone, cobblestone. There's tons of stone actually. There's like 8 double chests of it. And yeah, riches and yeah, shulker boxes and junk chests are appearing. So that tells me I need to get a proper storage area done. But we got the powered rails in. That was the main goal of today, and it's done. And I'm so happy we did that. And I didn't even need to use a gold farm. I mined all this gold. Maybe a bit mad, but you know, that's how Minecraft's supposed to be played, isn't it? You're not supposed to farm everything. You're supposed to mine, craft. It's in the name. Anyway, if you enjoyed this episode, please do leave a like, and I'll see you again next time. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye bye.